Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and today we're going to be doing another look at the, uh, uh, the hurricane season and having a look what cyclones, tropical development there is in the Central Pacific, East Pacific, and the Atlantic, and we'll look at the Atlantic very closely as there is a tropical storm, potentially hurricane, moving into quite populated areas within the next few days. But currently in the Central Pacific, there are no hurricanes or tropical storms, and no development is expected within the next 48 hours. Eastern Pacific, there is one area of development with a low 20% chance of formation in the next 48 hours. Doesn't look too significant, just thunderstorms drifting out in the middle of the ocean. Don't really know where this one's really going to head to. It's not particularly far east enough that you'd say it might be one of those that goes to Mexico, but then it's not particularly, it doesn't look like it's moving completely close to Hawaii again. Just a few areas need to keep out for that, but it's nothing too significant. Probably won't amount to anything, but again, who knows. The Atlantic, though, that's where we're going to see some significant development over the next day or two. We've got a current tropical wave coming off Africa, off the west coast of Africa. 20% chance of development, but again, that could bump up very quickly. Again, we've had times where before it said only a 10% chance of developing, and it's developed into a major hurricane. So again, we'll have to keep an eye on that as it comes off Africa and heads towards the Caribbean. Again, it's just a cluster really in a broad area of low pressure, but again, it could significantly develop. And as we move more towards the peak hurricane season, August, September, these sort of systems coming off Africa are going to have a higher chance of development, warmer seas. So we are really getting into the peak period of hurricanes. And again, we've had a lot of hurricanes and tropical storms this season. Nothing too major yet, but again, as you can see, we've reached I. I don't really know how to pronounce tropical storm. I don't really know how to pronounce it. Tropical storm Isaias. I don't really know. I wish they just made the names a bit simpler. But anyway, this tropical storm has developed over the Caribbean. It's quite a large storm, and it's just the issue that they're having with the forecast is, as you can see, it's quite a broad area of cloud. There's no really majorly defined centre. So this is actually a tropical storm, only recently got tropical storm status because it actually developed a centre. But previously, when it was further south and east, it still had tropical storm strength winds, but it wasn't considered a tropical storm because it didn't really have a well-defined centre. And that's something the forecasts have got to really watch, because I've seen a lot of stuff on Twitter and stuff where people have been saying where the centre lies across some of these islands. It's very significant because some of these islands are quite elevated, and in years gone by, the centre of the storm does move over a mountainous region on one of these islands. It could disintegrate the storm, stop rotation, for example, because this storm's such a broad area, and the centre's not particularly well defined. There's a chance that even though it goes over some of these islands, the centre develops offshore and it can change the track, change the strength, as it's not really got a well-defined centre of sort of convection at the moment. So again, it's a very, very sort of at the tipping point right now to see whether it does develop into anything particularly significant, or whether it just maintains tropical storm conditions. So if we have a look at the static images. So as you can see, there's quite a lot of tropical storm warnings and tropical storm watches all the way up through the Bahamas and getting towards Florida. And you can see it's got a pretty much tropical storm development the whole way. So they're not really seeing a lot of downgrading of it. But at this point, there's no major chance of it turning it particularly major. Maybe get Cat 1, maybe Cat 2 hurricane. But again, it would have to get a well-defined centre for that to happen. So it would just have to see how it interacts with these Caribbean islands. As you can see, Saturday, it will move towards Florida. And on this current track, it will probably bring pretty significant conditions for, I don't know, Miami and the eastern coast, sort of Cape Canaveral, those sort of areas. You see some very significant conditions, high storm surges with the centre staying offshore, bringing in the winds. It could have pretty significant images depending on how it develops, and that's what I've got to keep reiterating. Doesn't look like it's developing too significantly at the moment, but again, how it interacts with these islands will change that vertical wind speed probability. You can see about 67% chance that tropical storm winds do start to reach Florida, and quite a very high chance that most of these islands do get direct hits. So again, there's going to be a lot of rain around, a lot of winds, potentially a storm surge. We're going to have to watch out for this. Um, it's the first proper sort of tropical storm that's gone on this track this season, so a lot of these areas will be seeing this for the first time, and it could provide significant conditions. And we have to keep a very close eye on it, as I keep saying, depending on how it develops and interacts. But it does look like it will be climbing up the east coast of America. And as you saw earlier, it doesn't look like it's significantly decreasing in strength. So we could see a sort of scenario, again, like we saw a few years ago with Hurricane Sandy, because I remember that was a very significant storm as it sort of skirted up the east coast and made very significant landfall in New York. Sort of coming in, bringing a lot of flooding. It did have very strong winds as such. It was only Cat 1, Cat 2, but it was a very large storm, very large area of low pressure. And, there's a chance it could happen with this if it maintains strength out towards the ocean and it does maintain its form and its structure. So I have to keep an eye on that. So this sort of track keeps changing with every single model run. It's something we need to really keep an eye on, and I'll probably do another update on this tomorrow as it heads more towards Florida. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe new, and I'll see you again tomorrow for another update.